My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of I Know Who Killed Me, and this review will have spoilers, so there's your warning. But when this movie came out in 2007, it got completely panned by the critics. Everybody hated it. It was widely considered to be one of the worst movies ever made. It had an atrocious 9% score on Rotten Tomatoes. But in recent years, I've noticed it's getting its good accolade. That's when people take a movie that everybody hates and they're like, hey, it's good actually. And sometimes when that happens, I do agree with some. That's the case with Jennifer's Body and Speed Racer, but there's other movies that I just simply do not agree with. And that is the case with this one. I do not think it is the dumpster fire it's been made out to be, but I do not think it's good actually by any means. I've read some of the good reviews, and everyone seems to reference its influence from the giallo subgenre, which is like an Italian slasher. And I actually hate this subgenre. It's like if you take a slasher movie and just get rid of any bit of tension or joy and just make it a slogfest of a movie, and that's what you get with giallo. And that's kind of what this movie felt like. People notice its inspiration from Dario Argento, a director who I think is very overrated, and David Lynch, who I'm going to be honest is a complete blind spot for me, with the exception of Dune. So the giallo influences did not increase my love for this movie in any way, but I do think there's some positives. I do kind of like how it's a very trashy movie trying as hard as possible to be high art, and it just makes for a very unique watch in certain ways. I do kind of like the look of this movie, as amateurish as it is. The colors still pop out and really stand out. And I do think there's, like, if I describe this movie, it sounds a lot more exciting than it really is. Like, the whole idea of these twins who never knew each other being linked as one of them is being tortured is actually a fantastic and terrifying idea. Reminds me a bit of that one scene early on in Looper, but it just doesn't lean into that premise enough. You know, you do get some brutal moments, but not enough. And I also feel like it was wasted potential to explore the unfairness of life. How one twin was given a good life and the other one was not. But they just don't explore that in any way that resonates. And I feel like this movie also could have been really goofy, because there's an evil piano teacher, she gets a robot arm, but this movie doesn't lean into any of that. So it just feels like wasted potential in every way, as a whole movie, as a psychological drama, and even as a campy horror slasher. You see the potential while watching it, but it only exists in that form. And it's just a very slow and boring movie. It needed a bit more energy, and I do think it's like 20 minutes too long. I think the direction by Chris Silverstein is very poor, and Lindsay Lohan is an actress who I defend. Now, I know this movie came out during her downfall, but she has given us some great performances. Mean Girls is fantastic, and she's fantastic in it, and I also love her performance in Freaky Friday. I've never seen The Parent Trap actually, but she has delivered some really solid work. But this is the worst performance I've seen from her. It's just doesn't play to her strengths. I don't think she showcases the emotional range needed. And I just found it to be a very empty performance, unfortunately. So look, I'm not going to say it's one of the worst movies ever made, and I'm not saying it's good actually. I'm saying it's wasted potential because there was so much more that this movie could have been. But it just doesn't lean into any of those elements enough, and the end result is just kind of a boring, forgettable movie. I didn't hate it, but I certainly didn't like it either. So I'll give I Know Who Killed Me a 4 out of 10. Okay, have you seen I Know Who Killed Me? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin, out.